be your host for this week. I'm joined by Varun again, late at night in Singapore. Varun, was there some cricket this week?
I don't know, man. There was definitely some cricket. I feel like I'm working on a meme. If my technology skills were better, I'd love to put a meme out there that says Siraj bhai, game changer player he is. I only believe in Mia bhai. Like what scenes, man. We've just come off. I think it's been about 1.5 to 2 hours since that win. It was unreal. I mean, we were all screaming in our houses watching this. We had given up hope, honestly. Like the chatter in the WhatsApp groups was 1% chance for India. Quick info is saying it's an overcast morning, so maybe 2% chance. And that's kind of the mindset that we went in. But clearly, Siraj Bhai had other plans.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it was Monday morning. It was Mia Magic. It is goosebumpy stuff. India have managed to level this Anderson Tendulkar Trophy 2-2. We had a dramatic morning's play. I was there for 3 days out of the 5, Varun. Can you believe that? I went for day 1, day 2, and day 4, which was, I thought, going to be the end of the test match. But obviously, the weather gods and the Oval's groundsman had other plans. There's so much to unpack. I don't know. I mean, it's so close to the end of this test match that quite I'm still feeling quite tense. I'm still feeling quite relieved. I don't know. We've covered some fantastic series on this podcast, Varun. I think this is right up there with the Border Gavaskar Trophy, the Gabba win, perhaps the Lord's Test match win the last time round, the Oval win the last time round. Those for me are the peaks of Test cricket on this podcast. But Varun, this series, and now we can look back at it as a series which has had 25 days of Test cricket. Each Test match has gone to the last day. Let's not get this wrong. There are two very flawed teams playing Test cricket here. But it's made for compelling viewing. It's been dramatic. And at the end of it, I think 2-2 is probably the fairest result that we could have gone. Because it felt like 3-1, right? It didn't feel like 3-1 would have been the right result for the amount of good cricket India has played in this series. And as you said this morning, Varun, it was 56 balls of good cricket, unlike the 45 minutes of bad cricket that we usually have.
40 minutes of bad cricket. And lots to unpack there, DJ, what you said. But let me just say there's one common thread between Gabba, Lords, and Oval. And that is Siraj. I mean, I remember him being the leader of the pace attack at the Gabba, where we were playing Natarajan and Saini, Shardul and Washi.
5 wickets. First 5-wicket haul ever.
Yeah, at the Lord's Test, I can't remember how many wickets he took, but I remember
4 wickets in both innings, I think, and ending with Jimmy Anderson, the
exactly
bold.
that image of Jimmy Anderson getting bowled and Siraj running off. And then today you have it again, Siraj with a Yorker to finish the game when things were looking tense. And we will get into it. But DJ, you're right. Look, it was two young teams. It was two teams missing a lot of key players. For India, you think about it, no Rohit, no Kohli, no Ashwin, no Pant, no Bumrah in this, at least the 5th test. 5 out of our top 11 who were guaranteed starters. And we've pulled it off. So I think in hindsight, DJ, 2-2, as you mentioned, is probably the fair result for both sides, right? Neither taking it away by a large margin. But we were like 6 runs away from this being 3-1. And why it's important, because if you don't have the memory of an elephant, when you go back, and now, by the way, I started using ChatGPT to check all scores of previous last 10 years, 20 years, the scorecard would have read 3-1, right? And 10 years later, when we were talking about this series, who would have remembered all the nitty-gritties? So 2-2 is actually very fair. I think what is amazing about Test cricket today is this whole World Test Championship table that comes into play. And you could see Ben Stokes in the Test series was desperate for the wins, because winning at home is a big advantage, right, for most teams. So by India pulling off a 2-2 and then going into a home season, I think we've actually pulled off a coup here, and it's just been absolutely fantastic.
No, it's been incredible. But Varun, when you woke up this morning, honestly, what was your feeling there?
I was telling you, that's why I said 1% chance. That's what I kind of had pegged it at. I was hoping for some miracle where you get a quick wicket, but I was not hopeful. DJ 35 runs, and I think they cut it down from 35 to 17 very very fast. 17 to win is just two or three nicks that go to the boundary, and in fact, one of them was a nick. So I wasn't feeling great. The other thing I have to say is, more often than not, as an Indian fan, we end up on the worst side of the equation, right? On the losing side. We've seen it. There's been heartbreak for 25, 30 years that we've been watching. It all felt too familiar, and that's why you kind of, as a cricket watcher, hoping that whatever happens, it happens fast, because last thing I want to do is spend another 4 or 5 hours and then end up on the losing side. So I'll be very honest, I did not have hope, but at 5:59, before that first ball was bowled in Singapore, um, the problem is there's always that 1% hope.
Yeah, and we're all watching it, right? We're all watching it. But when I look back at this test match, right, like of course the end was highly dramatic, right? And if India had to get 37 runs on the last day with 4 wickets standing with our tail, I would say the odds are against us winning that test match. England, it seemed like it was on the other foot. James Smith, great player, got 175 against us at Edgbaston in half a session, basically. Gus Atkinson has 100, I think, in Test cricket. Jamie Overton has got 97 once, I think, in Test cricket. So I don't know. It didn't feel like a Test match that we were going to win. Chris Woke said he's going to come out and bat, and we should talk about that because I think you have a man crush on Chris, and that may have just like gone up multiple times. But I think the whole the cauldron of Test cricket, the pressure, and then the will of one man, Mohammad Siraj. I was there on day 4, as I said. India had a very flat session, right? In the second session, and they were 300 for 3, Varun, let's not forget. India were looking down the barrel of yet another baseball chase, and oh my god, the crowd had already started talking about baseball. India can't even beat Yorkshire because Joe Root and Harry Brook are both Yorkshiremen, and they were batting. And then you saw Siraj. He took on the Kohli role. And I was just like, if Kohli had been in the field, something would have been happening. Siraj actually started conducting the crowd, like he's seen Kohli do so many times. Now we've seen Siraj the last time, like play with the English crowd and do 1-0 when we've been bowled out for 78 and all of that stuff. But this time he got the Indian crowd going, which was really quiet for a long time, and you could see the energy shift. That test match without Mohammad Siraj, forget his 30 overs in the second innings, which is a bonkers stat by itself, as the only bowler left standing who's played all the test matches. He willed this Indian team to win that test match. Conducted the crowd, bowled himself into the ground. He was still bowling 85 plus miles on day 5 of the 5th test.
Yeah,
I'm in awe of this man and his heart. Like, he deserves like a handi of Hyderabadi biryani when he gets home. Like, just, I know we talked about Shami and his biryani, but obviously Siraj just go home and bury himself in a pot of biryani. He's earned it.
no, and everyone's been talking about it, right? Like, I think Stuart Broad was having a chat with Nasir Hussain, and they said this guy needs a holiday on a beach straight after this. Ravi Shastri said that he's going to get a promotion from DSP Siraj to whatever the next level is when he gets back to Hyderabad.
SP, na? Deputy se to
It's
SP.
just unbelievable the heart that this guy bowls with. He only knows one way to play, which is the way Virat Bhaiya plays, and so he looks up to him. He's been at RCB with him. I think he's just taken on that energy and kind of taken on that mental, because I saw him riling up the crowd as well and telling them to clap, and it was exactly so. Yes, he does that. He's learned it from Virat. But I thought what Joe Root said was very interesting, because Joe Root said he almost has this fake aggression, and he's actually just a lovely guy. And all of us feel that too, right? All of us feel that when Siraj is aggressive, when he throws the ball at Marnus Labuschagne in the Australia Test series, when he talks back, and it does seem a little
Shoulder charges, Ben Duckett.
Yeah, it does feel a little fake, but he, again, I'm saying he's learned from the best, and whatever it takes to get you charged up on the field is what's needed. So I actually
And what
played.
is amazing actually is that India have won two test matches that Bumrah's not played, right?
Yeah,
He has now finally, I think, come out of the shadow of Bumrah and Shami. We've always on this pod, Varun, talked about him as a third seamer, right?
yeah. In
Like
fact,
Bumrah, Shami, Siraj.
yeah, we've always said that he's not even first change. He doesn't do anything with the ball. Remember, guys, he's had a very, very interesting journey, right? He played cricket for almost 5 years without a break. And towards the end of that 5 years, I think end of 2024, early 2025, he was bowling flat, and he actually got dropped from the Indian team for the Champions Trophy. And he came out with some cryptic posts. I think it hit him very badly. He couldn't believe it. But as all great players do, he took that for what it was, which was he needed a break. He took that break. India actually won the Champions Trophy. So imagine Siraj being probably India's one of India's premier fast bowlers, doesn't have that trophy with him, but he just took it in his stride, and he always knew he was going to come back better. He has been in the shadows. I think he's an emotional guy. I think when Bumrah plays, he he's like, Jassi Bhai is the number one bowler, and I will support him, right? And when I don't know, there's no correlation to this, but when Bumrah is playing, his average is 35. When Bumrah is not playing, I think his average is 24 or
20
25.
something, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a huge difference, 10 runs per wicket difference. So he steps up when needed. He fights all the time, and like I said, again, I can't remember this, but he must be one of the only one or two or three who's played all 5 tests. So he's played 25 days of cricket this
Only
career.
bowler, one
Only
bowler,
bowler.
who's
That's
made
it.
it through maximum number of balls, maximum number of wickets. And I know this is at risk of turning into a Siraj fan pod, but like we have been fans of the guy, but we've seen him as a workhorse, a guy that like will bowl the overs, hit the deck hard, support the main bowlers. We've not seen him, Varun, as a match winner, right? Like you talked about Edgbaston, right? And I heard Varun, you and Ashwin talk through the bowling there. Of course, Siraj bowled well, but the chat with Akashdeep with the new ball, like again, Siraj kind of has always been overlooked. Of course, nobody's doubted his big heart. He runs in, he'll run through a wall for his team and his nation. And I think that's finally now being recognized. I've seen like Melinda Farrell has just written about him, Jared Kimber's written about him, ESPN Crick Info is writing about Siraj. It's nice to see a guy like him actually get his due, right? Finally, he was distraught at Lords, Varun, when the ball rolled onto his
And,
stumps.
and that's what I was going to say, that he's been part of the epic moments of the series as well. At Lord's, 22 runs to win, Jaddu telling him, I will win it, just defend. He actually gets it in the middle of his bat and the ball rolls onto his stump. Yesterday, DJ, you were in the crowd.
Oh
It
man, the
looked like a
catch.
schoolboy error. He
The catch.
took the
But
catch and
I
went
don't know how much
over.
this has been picked up by like the outlets. He was off the field
Yeah,
before that
It
ball.
was picked up by everybody, and that's why there's a thing about concentration and focus, because he's
Yeah.
coming down from the dressing room, having a chat with the physio or the fielding coach, whoever it was, and then he gets this next ball. He takes the catch and goes over, and you're thinking that is the match right
Yeah.
there. I
And,
swear,
and it was 137 for three. And I'm just like, my mind actually goes back to the Surya Kumar Yadav catch in the T20 World Cup. And I'm like a few inches there is the match. A few inches here is the match. Trent Bolt stepping on that boundary line during the World Cup final. And I'm just like, this cannot be happening again. And then, like, for him to put that out of his mind and to say, I'm going to win this, I think this has been a superhuman. He has earned again, he was unlucky. He only picked up 2 wickets yesterday, but I don't know how. He kept beating Ben Duckett
yeah.
over and over and over again. It was an unbelievable spell, unbelievable courage, unbelievable strength, unbelievable stamina and character, man. Like
Yeah.
he's just
And it's so barest of margins comes to mind. But imagine if we had lost the game today, we would have probably been talking about the series that could have been, and there would have been probably three turning points, right? One is that Rishabh Pant ran out, second is Siraj getting bowled, and third is Siraj catch, which he touched the boundary. So
yeah.
it's it's almost like, he woke up saying, listen, I have a chance to turn the narrative around. I have a chance to get 1.4 billion people behind me, and it's up to me. And he actually said, in Hindi, he said, at the interview, he said, I woke up, I took a screenshot from Google with the word believe, which DJ, from 10 years ago, I did the same thing when
For
Delhi
Delhi
and the
Daredevils.
Daredevils where we lost. But if Sehwag had taken the screenshot, it would have been so much more impactful rather than me taking a screenshot or writing believe. But he wrote believe, and he just, he came out there. He was very well supported by Prasid Krishna. So many questions. Should we take the new ball? What are the conditions going to be like? But I think for Siraj, it doesn't matter. He would have bowled the same way, no matter what the conditions.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable scenes and an unbelievable end to an unbelievable series, really. I mean, the whole context of this last session, it was always only going to be an hour at most, either way, right? You go back to Manchester, India 0 for 2. They held on for a draw there. Batted 2 days, the whole like washy handshake, and they say, put that out of your mind. But to be 0 for 2 for the series could have been over on day 4 of the fourth test match. To drag it all the way to the end of that, put Stokes through more bowling, then come to this test match, get inserted. We've lost 5 tosses, Varun. We're going to now go through the game. We've lost 5 tosses. I think the odds of losing 15 tosses internationally in a row across formats is something like 32,000 something. I don't know how they've done it. Get inserted on a green top, 8 mm of live grass. Balls moving everywhere. Big news, selection-wise, no Ben Stokes for England, no Jofra Archer for England, and no Bryden Cars. So it's all changed for them. They brought in Jacob Bethel, no Liam Dawson as well. He gets dropped. Bethel's a batter who can bowl a little bit. And then they bring in Jamie Overton, who hasn't played a test match. He's barely played any county cricket. They bring in Gus Atkinson, who wasn't picked for his county because they thought that he couldn't get through a spell. And they bring in Josh Tongue back into the side. So, and Chris Wokes carries on. He's the other guy who's played 5 test matches, right? Those are the changes for England. But obviously, Kamboj was not going to play again after that showing of the Praveen Kumar without swing effort. So Kamboj went out. Akashdeep came back in, and we should talk about that selection. Still no Kuldeep Yadav. Right? So and Bumrah, they said he's not going to play the next game. Right? You can understand all the English changes because they're just cooked, those bowlers. Right? And Dawson didn't do well enough, so wasn't picked. First, talk to me about the Bumrah mission. It's all fine in hindsight now, right? Like 2020. On that pitch, with that much green grass on it, the best bowling conditions of the series, saying 3 days out from the test match that Bumrah is not going to play, like, what's the story there?
I mean, I think it was a silly move on BCCI and the Indian cricket team's part to come out before the series 2 months ago and say that Bumrah is going to play 3, right? Because what invariably happened, I don't know if this is planned or coincidence, is that the best bowling track was once he completed his 3. Now, I think Bumrah should have played. I don't know enough, but I'm just talking more as a fan. I think Bumrah should have played. I also think we should not have announced that he's not going to play so early on. And just having Bumrah on that side, can you imagine if Bumrah was here but no Archer, Stokes and Cars? It does change the mental equation of both teams. Like you said, it has worked out. And I think as Indian cricket team fans, we're just going to have to get more and more used to the idea that he's not going to play as much as he has in the past. Because I think it's important to kind of, find a way to give his career that sustainability or longevity rather than have him as a burst and retire in 2 years. So I think India will play him very carefully, big tournaments, big series. And I think he's done enough to deserve that. But coming back to your question, as a fan, I think he should have played.
Yeah. But this is the long-term thing, or do you think it's him just coming back from his back injury? Because like not playing all your test matches, yes, I get if you're injured is one thing, but workload management in a series that is live, that you've just battled like 1.5 days to get to the last test match to keep the series alive, like It
You
just didn't sit right with me, man. It just
agree, and
didn't.
that's what I fully agree. You've played 14 IPL games, or maybe 10 this year because you're recovering. There's nothing notable coming up till Feb next year with the T20 World Cup. So you could have, I feel, pushed yourself. But man, again, we don't know. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
last thing you want is Chris Wokes has played five and now his shoulder. Now it's not to do with bowling, that was the
yeah.
fielding. But Ben Stokes couldn't play, Archer couldn't play. So there is something to it. Again, I'm saying
Hmm.
it's just huge disappointment that I think we don't have such a big test series for another year almost.
Yeah,
And so we would have loved to see Bumrah go out there and have a go at them on this pitch.
yeah. And then Kamboj went out. Shardul Thakur went out. In came Akash Dev. Now, on paper, Varun, was that the right selection, or would you like to see a bit of Arshdeep? Akash was apparently fit at the beginning of the test, but I mean, he was being played like a spinner, man.
Yeah, there was something clearly by that day four. I think Akashti was not looking the same. I think again we missed two tricks here. One, we should have played Kuldeep in some shape or form. Second, I think somewhere early on we should have played Arshdeep. Like, you keep picking him. He is that left-hander. He has proved himself on the big stage whenever he's gotten a chance. So I think we've made a mistake overall in the Test series. However, for the fifth Test, I think if you had to go with your best kind of bowling lineup and Bumrah's not playing, I can see the logic of playing Akashdeep. I'm just disappointed that they didn't play Arshdeep earlier.
So no Arshdeep, no Kuldeep, one deep playing, which was Akash Deep, and then Prasid Krishna came back in, right? And uh, I'm not a fan. It's worked out fine at the end. Probably the best track for him to play
Yeah.
another test. But so I don't know what his analysis was in the end. But at one point yesterday, he was 3 for 108 in 21 overs, right? And you look at those, like if Kuldeep had bowled 21 overs, given 108 and taken 3 wickets, he would have been universally banned for that. Prasid, in helpful conditions, took wickets in the first innings, got into a spat with Joe Root, which I found particularly odd because it was just very, very strange. But Prasid Krishna, what do you make of his series? 4 for 62 in the first innings, and then he takes 4 for 126 in the second innings. So 8 wickets in the match, but did he look to you in the same class as Siraj? Siraj took only 9 wickets in the match, but
Yeah.
to me, there was only one test match quick by the end of that game. Test match quality quick, that was bowling.
Yeah, I mean, on day five morning, I think Prasid looked good. He still was bowling short. I don't know if that was part of the plan. But overall, I said this, if you rewind back to probably 2 months ago in our preview, I had kind of said that I think this is Prasid Krishna's kind of coming of age series. And he disappointed me as well. Like, it was a big disappointment. I think for Indian cricket, the challenge is you've got these guys who have been kind of fringe players for a while. And because of the IPL and domestic seasons, you talk them up a lot. And then by the time they reach that international stage, they should be ready, right? That is the stage of kind of Indian cricket today. It's like Australia in the 90s. If somebody got a chance, you basically have to make it very hard for the guy who sat out for that one game to come back in. And I don't think Prasid did that. And I think, he should take some momentum from this last game with his 8 wickets. But I think Monomokul needs to really work with him because I think from a fast bowler perspective, I don't see a very big pipeline. So I think they're going to have to find a way to invest in him and make him better.
Okay, fair, fair. Anyway, in India get put in on a green track. Jaiswal goes to Atkinson, Rahul goes to Wokes. Sai Sudarshan hangs around, gets 38. It's a rain hit day. I was there on day one. It's a rain hit day, in and out. Shubman Gill, man, what was he doing in that first innings? He just knocks it and takes off.
Yeah, that was really, really bad. And again, this is like a historic series for Shubman Gill. It turns out he needed only 20 runs more to be the highest Indian run scorer in a series ever. But I
Yeah,
think
because Gavaskar got 774, I think,
and yeah,
in
I
the
think he
West
got
Indies.
754.
Yeah.
I think he would have been really disappointed with that. And when you think about it, right, the top order 2, 14, 38, 21, Jadeja 19, Jurel 19, Sundar 26. It's not something we were used to. So, special shout out to Karan Nair, I think, for hanging in there
Yeah.
and
What
playing
did you
that.
make of his series? What happens to Karun after this?
I think he just goes, man. I think, I think the legend of Karun Nair after that 300, where every time India is playing badly, somebody will send a message saying, "What happened to Karun Nair? He made 300 and got dropped." I think Karun Nair has ended his career, or at least this series, with a total test runs of under 1,000, out of which one innings was 300. So I think I'm glad he got the chance. Uh, but I think if you look ahead between our, South Africa and West Indies series in India, uh, we don't have to talk about it today. We'll talk about it later. But I think guys like Sarfaraz or Shreyas Iyer are going to be back for domestic series. I think we've seen the last of Karun.
Yeah, fair. Jarrell, bit disappointing, I think, for me in the first innings, but 224 on that track. India, remember, lost 4 wickets on day two within the first 30 minutes. I wasn't even at the ground. I was going there for day two. By the time I got in, I passed the back checks and everything. India was bowled out. I was like, okay, so we got the rubbish out of the way. And then, honestly, Varun, I've never sat through baseball yet. I've not sat through kind of 2 days of baseball. And if you're on the other side of baseball, it is genuinely the most annoying thing to ever watch live.
Yeah,
Right?
now you
Because,
know what. Now you know what people feel like when they see Pant bat.
yeah, it's basically that, right? Duckett and Crawley just took off. It was just smashing the ball. And we've struggled and crawled to 224, getting hit. Oh, brave decision, brave batting, all of this. And these guys just come and smash it. And India again clueless with that new ball. Like boss Akashdeep, this whole test match has been played like a spinner. They've just been coming out and smacking him. He needs to put on a yard or two of pace. I don't know what's happened, whether he's lost that zip, because Edgbaston, they were not playing him like this.
I think he was not fully recovered. I think they've chosen him over Arshdeep just based on that past one or two test performance. I do not think he was fully fit.
But
Is
they
my
were doing this to him at Lords as well. That's the Harry Brook. Like, he hit him for six. He hit him, like, he got bold finally doing it. But it was like Akashdeep just went all over the shop. Like, he was just smashed. A special shout out actually to Gus Atkinson in that first innings of India. He took 5 wickets, wrapped the tail up pretty quickly, fast, straight, coming back from injury again. But Akashdeep goes for like 70 against Siraj. And Siraj basically like brought India back into that game in that second session, because there was a point at which England were looking at a massive lead. They were looking at getting like 450, maybe bat once, and then it's done, right? Under like cloudy conditions, India would have again gone back. But again, Siraj recognized that moment, and that's what I really appreciate about Siraj is he's got a feel for the game. He's got a feel for the big moments, which I actually think, and we should talk about this, Shubman Gill actually lacks. I was actually very, very disappointed with Shubman Gill as a captain. Having watched it on the ground now, I have not captained any serious level of cricket. But basic stuff like having sweepers out in the right places, having maybe have more than two slips when you've got 300 runs to defend. He's got the same feel when you got 300 to defend and 50 to defend. It's just like, do you not understand what's going on like anymore? And there comes a point that I think the batters, he just hopes for the batters to make a mistake and get out, which is what Harry Brook did in that second innings, Varun.
Yeah.
They needed 80 to get. He just got bored and threw it away. And like, you cannot count. Like, Steve Smith is not doing that. Joe Root is not doing that.
Yeah.
Right? So Shubman Gill needs to get some tactics right. This has worked out fine, and I'm very glad it did. If we had lost this, I think there'd be some serious questions asked of Gambhir and Shubman Gill, because like two spinners, the team selection, three seamers, like the two spinners bowled 8 overs between them. And they've only got three seamers, one of which seems to be injured and one of which is Prasid.
Yeah.
So,
And that's why sometimes what happens is when you win a game like this, all those problems get masked, right?
yeah.
And so the spin bowling, the change of bowling, the field, doing things different. I had friends over yesterday and we were watching the match, and it was just horrible to watch. Like when you said you were at the ground, I actually felt bad for you.
No, I didn't. I was like, I can't believe we're watching this, because you're 106 for three, and it's completely clueless. It's just like, let's hope for a wicket to fall.
Yeah, and I think sometimes what happens is your mind shuts off, but that's not acceptable at this level because when you've got time, like he went back, he analyzed his performance, spoke to everyone. He's come out today a different captain, right? He was much more on the ball, doing things. Yes, there was one run out chance, which, you know,
Jurel.
with Jurel and Siraj even looked at Gill and said, "Didn't you tell him to take the glove off?"
And
Right?
I was like, aren't you missing MS Dhoni? How many minutes has it been into the podcast that I mentioned Dhoni? 30 minutes in, not
30
bad.
minutes, not bad. That's not bad
And
actually.
then Shastri repeated it, by the way. He said Dhoni would have had his glove off. He would have been in there to get the
Yeah,
run out. But it's
yeah,
just like just not being tactically sound.
yeah.
And then you expect the coach to, okay, you've got a young captain. The coach should be guiding him, giving him but like clueless. Some of that field placement was just like random. Anyway, sorry, go back.
No, no. I was just saying. I think what happens is sometimes is you just your mind switches off. You're not used to that, and it becomes difficult. So I think Shubman Gill has a lot to learn. Like we said, this could have easily been 3-1, and we could have spent this entire episode talking about whether Gambhir needs to go because Shubman is just his first series.
Yep.
But instead, we're now talking about how
And it
Gambhir
would
is
have
going to
been
get
Gambhir's lost New Zealand. We've
yeah
lost Australia
two
and
in
would have lost
13
England.
tests. I think before this one it was 2 in 13 wins. Now it's 3 in 13. It's not like it's fantastic performance, but it has done enough to save him in a new World Test Championship cycle. So
Yeah.
overall, it's worked out well. But yeah, we do need to get certain things right
So,
between
so,
him
so
and Gill.
basically, Gambhir and Gill are going to take Siraj out for biryani then because he's generally saved them.
Yeah, he 100% has. He just single-handedly showed up and saved them. So I think yeah, they better take him out for anything he wants.
Yeah, and of course, then England, Harry Brook got a 50 in the second innings as well. Last man out. Chris Wokes didn't come out to bat. Varun, that shoulder injury looks bad, right? Like, and Chris Wokes is known as one of the nice guys in Test cricket, and I think him coming out to bat in the second innings would have made English fans love him even more
Yeah,
if that was
the
possible.
same way Rishabh Pant is loved, and coming out with that broken toe or fractured toe, whatever it was, made us love him even more. So, yes, I think it was very clear that if it came down to it, he will come out to bat. He was in whites yesterday and today. What was interesting is that he had put a sweater over his arm, which means he really could not
Could
even
not.
do a
Even
great
running,
stretcher.
even running was hurting him because it was moving, right? Like, how do you run with
Yeah,
one arm like that?
exactly. So I think he was in pain even while taking the runs. There was chat of him coming out to bat left-handed, but
We didn't
after
find out.
yeah, we didn't find out. So credit to Gus Atkinson there for smartly taking a single off the last ball of I think 2 or 3 overs in a row.
Mm.
So I'm glad he didn't have to play a ball because even when Graham Smith came out 10 years ago or whenever it was, like he was still able to hold the bat and defend the ball.
Top hand.
This guy looked like if he played a ball, it was just they just had to put it on the stumps because I don't even think he would have got the bat. So
Yeah.
credit goes to
Incredibly
him.
brave though to put your body on the line like that, right? Like,
It is, but you know what? Like they got down to 6 runs, so I can understand why he did it because they were one hit away, and Gus Atkinson was swinging.
yeah,
So we just got lucky that one of
yeah,
those Prasid Krishna balls didn't go for six. And how bad his condition was because they took that risky run,
yeah.
right? So they would have rather had a chance of him getting out rather than him playing a ball.
And at 106 for three, I was speaking to one of the English supporters who sat next to me. I was feeling pretty smug at that point, going like, India is going to win this easily today. I'll get to watch India win on day four, go back, great weekend. Uh, he was like, "Oh, what if Chris Wokes has to come out to bat?" I'm thinking, well, maybe they need 30 runs to win. Does Chris Wokes come out to bat? I said, "There's no way. He's out for the Ashes. Like, why are you going to risk him? Like, but then it came down to that, right? And but Varun, okay, so they get 247. Jaiswal then comes out, and Virender Sehwag is one of your favorite players, right? Do you see a bit of Jaiswal, Viru in Jaiswal, the way he bats?
Jay and Viru, man.
Jay, Jay. No,
Uh,
but the reason I ask you that is right. Like at Lords when he got out, people were like, "Why did he hit that shot?" I was just
that
like,
was terrible.
"This is," but it's his way of playing. If he gets
No,
away,
that's
he
that. I
gets
think that's
away.
the. I
This
think
is the
that's the
Viru zero or four of one.
100. I know, but I don't feel Jaiswal is that type of player. He's technically better. He's got his head on his shoulder. He's young. There's
Viru averaged
responsibility.
50 in Test cricket, man.
I'm
Like,
not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he didn't. But all I'm saying is that shot was not on, whether it was Viru or Jaiswal at Lords. I think his trajectory is seeming similar because it is 0 or 100. There's no middle ground. But I mean, I would be very happy if he has a Viru like career. So yeah, I haven't thought about, actually surprisingly, I haven't thought about him like Viru, but I think he's here to stay. He just needs to work on consistency because
Yep.
in overseas conditions, you need that. Now again, I don't know Vidu stats home and away and say in our countries and stuff, but I think Jaiswal has it in him to play for the next 10 years for India.
Yeah, and he was dropped 3 times. Dropped by Harry Brook, it slipped. Then dropped at by Liam Dawson, hooking the ball at fine leg, who lost the ball by the looks of it. It was quite hard to actually sight the ball in the over because it was quite gloomy and dark generally. So there were times where everybody's looking for wide. When even Gus Atkinson today, I think, thought it got to square leg, but it got to long on. And then he was dropped after his 100. But what a way for this young man to finish his series, right? Like started with 100, then dropped a few catches. Felt like one of the reasons India lost at Leeds was because of Jaiswal's catching. Got a few more runs. Ended with an average of 42-ish in the series. Would he be happy with that? He scored a lot of runs against England. Scored 700 in the India series,
Yeah.
but
I think overall our openers did well. I think Jaiswal will be happy. I just think that Jaiswal in those clutch moments didn't hold his wicket, and I think that's what if I was him, that's what I would work on.
yeah, not happy with the 118 from Jaiswal.
No, I was very happy with it today. And that's why I said he batted awesome, and he batted at a pace that allowed us to kind of dominate this match for a certain period of time. So overall,
Absolutely.
very happy.
Yeah, but then again, there wasn't very much else. Rahul went for 7. Sai Sudarshan again, LBW to Atkinson. And then Akash Deep's greatest contribution in this match was surprisingly with the bat. I mean, he didn't really contribute in the field, dropping catches and letting fours go between his legs. But 66 from the night watchman, Varun. Final
Fantastic.
analysis, you win by 6 runs.
That was amazing, man. It was amazing. He just, I think, batted for like over an hour and a half, and you could see the English bowlers were just clueless. And the
Yeah.
commentators saying, "Bowl to him the way you'd bowl to Gill." And every time we go to England, we see a tail ender from India causing some damage. Mohammad Shami last time,
Bumrah.
Ashdeep this time, Bumrah with 36 or 37 runs in an over. So I think it threw them off. They came back very, very well, but you could see that pace of scoring was helping Jaiswal settle down as well.
Yeah. He
And
was playing second fiddle to Akash Deep at a point.
exactly. And
Just
so
like take a
overall,
single, let Akash do the hitting.
yeah, and remember Akash hit that brilliant six against Pat Cummins where Virat Kohli behaved as if he's won the World Cup. So yeah, he has it in him, man.
Incredible. And of course, Jadeja carried on with his form. Brilliant 50 from him again. And then, but Varun, we were 334 for 9. Siraj was given out LBW. The ball was still moving everywhere. And the guy that got told, oh, you want to make your 100 against Ben Duckett and Harry Brook, then just put the England attack to the sword. I mean, Washington Sundar, I think still pretty pissed off by. He seems a pretty chilled guy, but I think he does like file these things away. What a knock from Washi. 4 6s, 4 4s, 53, and 39 ball 50, I think, or 36 ball 50. Just smoked it all over the oval.
I mean, I didn't hear the word Waz ball or Saz ball or whatever you want to call it, but that's what it was. I mean, some of those hook shots were just, he was just dealing in sixes. It was like 6-0, 6-0, 6-0. And again, man, when it comes down to again winning by 6 runs, it's down to one Washington six that changed the game. So I think he played very smartly there. He knew he does not have time. India's tail is a problem. And I think Washington Sundar batting at, I mean, in this game, he batted at 9. I think is just ridiculous because you're going to have to see him do this a lot more. I think he came out there with a statement, 53 or 46, and really changed the game and changed the momentum. So it was a very, very smart batting from him, in my opinion.
Yeah, and tell me 373, Varun. Surely that was enough.
I mean,
Surely at the end of day 3, you think Bazball, Shazball, whatever, man. Like it's It's a green pitch. The ball is moving. Like Jurel got out to a ball moving in the 76th over. England are not going to get close to this.
I mean, look,
Surely you think that. We
I
couldn't chase, remember, 192 at Lords, which I'm
yeah, I
still very
know.
angry about.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that earlier today. I don't know, man. To be honest, the chatter on some of my groups was, it's enough. It's more than enough. There were one or two of us that were saying, 400, 420. The reality is we have lost with 370
Yeah,
a couple of
twice.
times in the
Twice.
twice in the
In
last
in the
year.
last through 2 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, so we have lost. It's not like they've not achieved it. But I think the other challenge is that if baseball gets going, then 420, 375, it doesn't matter.
It's
They're going to
irrelevant.
chase it. Yeah.
But surely we can't be in a place where you only set them 600 like we did in Edgbaston and then you're safe. Okay, now no
No, no,
baseball.
no. I'm
That's
giving them too
crazy.
much credit as well.
It is, right? And
But
so
they got close.
this is the that's the point. So now
Yeah.
373, I'm sitting there going, I'm going for day four. This is going to end on day four. Yes, they get off to a decent start. Duckett and Crawley do their thing, but then who else but Mohammad Siraj? Second last ball of the day, pushes the man back at square leg, double bluffs Zach and pulls a Yorker, and it's gone through.
That was great. That was Gill and Siraj. That was brilliant, man. They
It
just
was it was genuinely great. It was drama, and at 50 for one, right? You need 324 to win. Potentially just 8 wickets, because I don't think if they were 250 for nine, Chris Woakes would have come out. Right? He was not going to. That's dumb.
yeah.
Potentially 8 wickets to get. Starts off the morning. Prasid pitches one up. Duckett gets out. Pope messes around for a bit, gets 20, hits a few fours, gets out. And then Brook and Root come together. Talk to me about. Okay, I've watched a lot of cricket in England, and I think I've seen a Joe Root innings or Joe Root 100 in every test match I've watched. I should stop going to test cricket until Joe Root is still around. He gets yet another 100. I mean, how good is he? How good is this man?
He is, man. I'm telling you, like we discussed last week, he's chasing Sachin's test record. He is kind of playing second fiddle to Harry Brook. He's he has the ability to close the game out. He bowls for England whenever they need. Joe Root has actually been one of the best players in the last 10 to 15 years, in my opinion. We've talked about Kohli and Smith and Williamson, and he's been always the fourth name, in my opinion, but he's just overshadowed them. You talk about post COVID, I mean, love to see his stats post COVID, right? I think he's just probably averaged like
Next
60,
level.
70 in the last 5 years. So, what getting his wicket is very, very crucial for India. And again, it comes down to that period of play, man. We had all given up because we had seen it too closely. They've chased 375 before. Baz ball comes out, you start scoring quickly. The bowlers have no clue. The captain has no clue. The crowd is not behind you. It's it's a difficult one to come back
Yeah.
from.
It was the I think the first basketball session I watched was relatively amusing, the Crawley Duckett one. This one was like it was inevitable that England were going to just canter this chase. Harry Brooks just smashing it at middling everything, and he started playing sensibly as well. And when there was 80 runs to go, he hits two fours and then just hits Akashdeep up in the air. Siraj ironically catches him. But there's 80 to get, and there's 6 wickets left, and Joe Root is still batting. They go into tea. There's 57 runs to get after tea. Let's put this into context, right? There's 50. There's a bit of a rain delay. Maybe there was some rain on the pitch. I don't know. But India came out focused after that rain delay. Jacob Bethel didn't really look like he knew what was going on. Tries to charge, Prasid gets bowled. Then the crowd starts going, Siraj starts doing his thing. And then the huge wicket of Joe Root. I mean, Jurel takes a fantastic catch. And then India go in 337 for 6 overnight. We've already talked about what happened this morning. I think I'm pretty emotionally drained. It's late for you. We'll be talking about this win in time to come. It's a win for the ages, man. I think this is one where Indian cricket fans should say, but yes, there are issues with this team. Let's not get that wrong. And there would have been a massive inquest if it had been ended 3-1. So, but let's leave that for another day. Maybe we'll come back to it when there's a loss, because there are some very obvious and glaring cracks in this team. I think at this point we should just enjoy the fact that Mohammad Siraj plays for our team. I think Joe Root called him a warrior. He called him a great competitor. He's run through a brick wall for this team. He's willed the team across the line, supported by Prasid Krishna with his four fine. He went for runs, whatever. In the final analysis, India win by 6 runs. All the work over the last 25 days, probably a pretty fair result. I think Baz said that. I think Stokes said that. Indian fans should be elated everywhere. And they've given us something to like be proud of, right? Like to see an Indian team come back from the brink like that, to play with that intensity. It just we'll keep going back to it. It's why Kohli said IPL is in its own place, but Test cricket is five notches above this, and that's what it is, and we love it. And I mean, long may Test cricket live.
Absolutely. I think this highlights reel is going to be added to my list of monthly viewing. And for all England India series to come for the next 10, 20 years, they're going to be showing this on loop. So well done, Team India. Well done, Mohammad Siraj. And yeah, now we'll probably have to shift gears a little bit with the Asia Cup coming up. But that's still a month away. I'm sure we'll probably get Ashwin on and do one more wrap of the entire series before the Asia Cup. But it's been great, man. I think I'm on such a high right now, but just thinking that there's no England Australia series in the next 6 to 12 months is making me feel a little bit sad.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Like you don't get up tomorrow and think there's a test match, and when is the next test match? But I think my wife and child will be relieved because when Prasid bowled Josh Tongue, I screamed so loudly that my daughter woke up. And my wife was not happy with that because we just about put her to sleep after a long time. But hey, that's a lot of Indian cricket fans, guys. This has been the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast. Thank you for all of you that have joined us live. We've got some really lovely comments from you guys. Manav Gupta says, thank you, Dharmasena, for giving that decision out. Yes, that was the umpire's call on Jamie Overton. Small margins, right? Like a cricket bat has a very small edge, and clearly the leg stump had a very small edge there. Thank God it was clipping and it was given out. And that's a wrap for this week. We will see you. Hopefully we can take a bit of a break now, Varun, because it's been pretty intense few days. Maybe we'll come back with an English reaction or something. That might be quite nice to do. But Varun, thank you for joining me. This is the Edges and Sedges Cricket Podcast. One tip, one hand on all the social medias. And yeah, like, share, subscribe, send this to all your friends, tell everybody about us. The Indian Cricket Podcast that everybody loves to listen to. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you soon.